Hello again, and welcome to another 360 Timmy. We're on West 39th and 7th Avenue, Fashion District, and this is a great spot for my special guest today, Ariana Rebello.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Ariana Rebello is a fashion and media presenter, and I'm going to talk about her career, and I say, what a better place than Fashion Avenue to cover this.
Definitely.
So where did the interest in fashion come from? I guess I hear your mum was a designer in the 90s. Is that part of it?
Yeah, definitely. She was the best, and she did a lot of designing in India. She had a store. She moved to DC and worked for Neiman Marcus. And I just loved fashion at that point, but I had no intention in going into that industry at all. So I went the music route, and then I went the TV route, and I realized it's all the same. Yeah. Everybody needs clothes. Everybody wants to look hot.
Oh, I forgot to mention, you present a show on Essenza on Kokoconnect TV.
Yes, I do.
And that's you started?
I started on a web series called I Don't Have Style Either.
Okay, so you've been doing it a fair time.
6 months, 7 months. Wow. I recorded everything over the summer, and then I moved to London and just started releasing it through when I was in London. And it was super fun, super easy, and yeah, that was basically it.
So you're studying journalism, are you, at the moment? Is that
No.
No?
I'm studying music business.
Music? Okay, that's an interesting avenue then.
Yeah. It's a little random.
Yes.
I got into this basically 6 or 7 months ago. At that point, I was a junior already. So I graduate at the end of this year, and then I go to business school.
Crikey. And you're going to keep the TV show going in the background?
Yep.
So what's the commitment there? How does that work? Because I think I saw you were in Milan a couple of weeks ago.
I was.
It's Milan, so cool. New York, London, the fashion kind of capitals.
Paris.
Paris. Oh yeah. How can I forget Paris?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, I did that. I was there last month. We're going to go back in February and shoot with an amazing network over there, and have a reporter in Italy and have a reporter, me, in America, and kind of switch around. That's the plan. But I love traveling, and I think when I got to London, that's when I realized I love the fashion industry, because it was just so much better there.
Yeah.
Everyone was super friendly, and people were very out there with their clothing. I mean, similar to New York. I mean, look around.
I have to say, because I go to Milan a fair bit with my work, and I've been on the plane a couple of times and seen some rather interesting fashion, and it's people actually going out there for Fashion Week as well. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you go to Fashion Week?
I didn't. Well, I mean, I could do, couldn't I, really?
You totally do Fashion Week.
I'm trying to rock a different look for middle-aged men in podcasting. But so where did it all start? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in DC, like Virginia specifically, and the fashion there is a little bland for my taste. A lot of blues, a lot of blacks, and I wore sweatpants like every day, and like the same shoes, because you want to blend in. You're not really the type to stand out over there, at least. But then when I moved here, I was like, I can be anyone I want to be. I can be emo. I had an emo phase. I can be super girly and wear lots of pink. I did that too. And now I'm trying to figure it out. I'm having a hat moment this week, like hats.
So the sky's the limit, isn't it? Literally.
Yeah.
So do you get opportunities to wear new things from designers and fashion houses as a result of what you're doing?
Yes, definitely.
This must be a bonus then.
It's the biggest bonus in the whole world. This hat is from Milan, actually, from a designer. It was from the brand Borsellino, and it was like gifted to me, and I wear it now because it's free and I like it.
That's fabulous. So from DC, how did you get into the media side of things then? What was the first big opportunity you got?
I did Hofstra, like radio. So I went to Hofstra for school, and I did college radio, even though I wasn't in the comm school at the time. I think I always liked media. If you can talk and you can hold a conversation with people and you like to be social, media really is the place. And I interviewed a pageant woman who was Miss Universe in 2020 named Maria Satil. And she was Indian. I thought that was really cool that she had won Miss Universe in Australia. So I had this conversation with her, and it opened me up for my web show, where they called me up and they said, you can do whatever you want to do. So we tried dating shows. That kind of didn't work. I'm not really great at dating. And then we did fashion, and that really just stuck, because I had no sense of style. I didn't know how to look good. And I kept seeing these influencers with the coolest style in New York. And I wanted to be like them. So I would interview influencers for my show and designers to see like, what are some key things I can take away from this? Yeah.
So is that live or recorded?
It was recorded.
Yeah.
We had an amazing director who actually followed me to this project. Her name is Zaha Alieva, and we co-created the show Essenza together with the help of Deborah Chandler, who is the president of this new network that I work for.
So Kokoconnect, what is that? What is that net for anyone who doesn't? Because I'm not from the US. Is it is it an international platform?
It is.
Yeah.
It just launched very recently. It's free, which I love. I love free things. This hat, Kokoconnect, those are my two favorite free things. And it's a streaming service, so you can watch movies and your favorite influencers and TV shows that you really like without having to pay for Netflix or Hulu.
And that's worldwide.
It is worldwide.
So that is a fantastic platform to be
It's
on.
amazing. It's on an app. It's growing every single day. And Deborah and I actually met during Fashion Week. We got seated next to each other, and she had already seen my web show, or she started watching it that week, and she wanted me to move it over.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It was so cool.
It's these little connections, isn't it? Once you make one and make a start, you know.
Yes.
It just snowballs from there.
I think you should always be kind to everyone and open yourself up to every single door. I think that if I hadn't spoken to her, I wouldn't have been where I am now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And so your new show, is it studio? I think I've seen you in some sort of studio. Or is it just interview mock-ups?
It's interview mock-ups. It's less studio. We want to really focus on picking a place that's close to the person that we interview.
Yeah.
Whether that's their home, their favorite store, their favorite restaurant, their favorite country even. You know, so we try to do it like that, different places every single time.
So that is a fair bit of travel.
Yes.
And a fair bit of research as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah, very much. Our new episode that's coming out in a couple weeks is about your favorite New York influencers and how they're running New York City currently. So we've had to travel to like 7 different places for this one episode.
Crikey.
Yeah.
And that's you've got a producer working with you.
I produce.
Yeah. Oh, you produce as well. So
Yep.
you really are doing everything. Well, my hat's off to you there because
Thank you.
that's a fair bit to take on as well as presenting as well.
It's amazing, and I do it with Zaha as well. We're like a 2-woman show.
Yeah.
And she directs, she edits, we produce it together. I schedule, cast.
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been fun.
And I think when I looked at Kokoconnect, there was a kind of a schedule. I couldn't see. There's going to be VOD, is there? So you can watch episodes that have gone out after the schedule. Yes.
Yes,
So
they run.
I'll get the link. Put that on this video so people can see your show.
Really?
That's great. Absolutely.
Thanks. Yeah, we just released our New York Fashion Week episode. That one was so much fun. We're a little late to it. We interviewed a bunch of really cool designers and got to go to some amazing shows this season. It was so great.
Now, fashion is obviously very kind of glamorous, but I mean, sustainability is a key thing, isn't it? I mean, I think I've heard you say on previous podcasts about 10% of the industry is the carbon footprint of the world. So that's quite.
It's high.
That's high. Yeah. So what are the challenges for fashion to try and fix that and resolve that? Do you think?
I think that there's a lot of fast fashion brands that are now trying to switch up. For example, Zara, H&M, Uniqlo. They're changing their policies, their environmental policies when it comes to the clothing they're creating, and they're also changing the materials that they work with. So they're trying to have more wool, better fiber, tencel, a lot of just more wholesome materials, and changing their labor working like laws, which I think is a great first step.
And it's also, I guess, great nowadays that, so I'm going to show an age thing, right? So when I was younger, if you wanted second-hand clothes, you went to what we call in the UK a jumble sale. I don't know what you call it over here.
I don't know either.
Would it be? It's basically you go to a church hall or something like that, and there's tables full of clothes. But of course now people sell things on Spock, Vinted, all that kind of stuff.
I actually think I went to one in Kensington, like at a church.
That's it.
Yes, but it was so much more expensive than I would imagine it would be a couple years ago.
Yeah, because it used to. Yeah, to be fair, you used to go down maybe pick a suit up for £1.50 or something like that.
£1.50.
Yeah, because it was jumble. It wasn't really. Now I suppose we're going to the kind of eBay way of doing things, aren't we? And people think, oh, well, I'll get my money back that I paid for it when I first bought it, which doesn't always work, does it?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's less than like a meal deal cost.
Yeah.
That's really wow.
But you must think about that in terms of sustainability. That kind of second-hand market is a great way of fast fashion actually being a bit more sustainable in the long term because it's being used more. It's not worn once and thrown out. It's, you know.
Well, that's another thing. Capsule fashion is also very important. Like keeping like 5 or 6 pieces that you know you can wear constantly all the time. Like you can't really see under this jacket, but I have a black sweater on, and I thrifted that black sweater. And it's from a brand named COS, I think.
Yeah.
They are usually really expensive because their quality is really good. I thrifted it for like $10. And I wear it all the time because you can pair it with like jeans like I'm wearing or a skirt, or even put like a dress underneath it and make it formal or casual. So yeah, keeping the clothing you have minimal, but being able to style it with, I think, accessories as well also is really sustainable in a way.
Yeah.
But I have a horrible habit of like buying so many clothes. Like it's a terrible habit of mine.
I'm the same with shirts.
Really?
'Cause I get bored with them. I mean, you know, you've seen this for the first time, but I wear it 3 or 4 days on the trot. I get bored with seeing it. So, and I think I need to get another one. And by the time I'm finished, I've got about 50 in the cupboard.
Well, you wear a lot of patterns.
I do.
How do you keep up?
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, one of the challenges is sometimes if I turn up in something that's rather dull, they go, "Oh, that's a bit disappointing." So I feel a bit pressured, you know. So
Yeah.
that's an interesting fashion for someone like me, isn't it?
Do you keep up with certain like patterns for like the trends that are going on, or do you keep the patterns
I
the same?
tend to go Larry and Blairy.
Larry and Larry.
I do like to stand out. I like a little bit of orange, as you can tell.
Oh yeah.
And I like bright colours.
And orange is the new black, I think.
It is actually, isn't it? Yeah.
That's what I've heard. There's a show about it. I think it's I'm pretty sure it's a fashion show, clearly by the name or something. So I like the orange. It's a look.
I guess another thing I've spotted on social media is there are lots of people now doing channels where it's this is what I'm wearing today, men and women.
Oh
They
yeah.
go to their wardrobe and, you know, they start off in their underwear and suddenly I'm going to have this shirt with these pants,
OOTDs.
these shoes, that kind of stuff, yeah. So do you use social media to a great extent yourself?
I think in this type of time period, I have to use social media to keep the show kind of moving along.
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat. I don't really like it because I'd rather just have the show and then have my personal Instagram. Like, I don't like posting all the time.
Yes.
And like scheduling it, it just feels oversaturated in a way.
Yeah, I know what you mean because I have a channel for this podcast and I have my own one, and I don't often know what to post on where really because it's time consuming, isn't it? I mean, you're always on your phone when you especially if you travel to Milan, London, Paris, you're going to Fashion Week. You don't want to be nose down on your phone the whole time.
Oh yeah, I was totally like doom scrolling, and I didn't get a lot. I mean, I got a lot of content from Milan, but I realized I'm like, my phone is out all the time. I'm not even getting to look at it and see it for myself and really get to enjoy it.
And I suppose another challenge is that sometimes you want that content to go out pretty quick because it's Fashion Week in Milan. You're not going to do it when you get home, are you? Which is the week afterwards. So.
I can't stress that enough. It's so time sensitive.
Yeah.
So our New York Fashion Week episode came out pretty recently, like a couple days ago. But New York Fashion Week was like September.
Yeah.
So we're a little late to the game. I think that there's benefits to that as well. Like people don't really know about Fashion Week as much.
Yeah.
So it could really be aired at any time, and like people can still learn something about these designers.
Yeah.
Like one of the designers we interviewed was Cancer Culture, and it was I think her name is Dana, but it's an amazing cause, and it was money that like you're raising money for mastectomies. Yeah. And the clothing is for women who have breast cancer. So I think that type of interview is timeless.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? And as you say, doesn't have to hook up necessarily with all the Ferrari. I guess also, if you're doing it a couple of weeks afterwards, that is saturation. If you were doing it in the week, it'd be saturation, but afterwards you've got something fairly exclusive, haven't you?
Exactly. I mean, there's two types of people. Like I want to see the Milan Fashion Week content during Milan Fashion Week because I care about like the clothing and the trend cycle and whatever, but there's people who don't care and they just want to like learn something about fashion. Yeah. So for that, I think the show is really good because it's a beginner type of show. Yeah. Where you can really learn a lot, but you're also at like having these extremely glamorous types of interviews like Milan Fashion Week or TIFF or potentially, Paris Fashion Week as well. I want to go to Tokyo. I really feel like I'd be good there.
So maybe people seeing this will,
Send me out to Tokyo.
Exactly.
Send me out there.
How do you get interviews with key designers and fashion houses? So obviously, you've got big media going to these shows, and at the moment you're a small operator. But how do you get your foot in the door there in terms of getting interviews and
Well, I started when I was 19, during the pandemic, when the pandemic started. I think that people don't really realize, or at least they don't, that I'm just a regular girl sending them emails. But like originally, I would just send them a paragraph and tell them what I'm trying to do, and some people would take a chance, and from that, I would build. Nowadays, I send a pitch deck, I send a media kit, links to the show, now that it's evolved a little bit more.
You've got a bit more content, yeah.
Exactly. But I think that publicists really, really want to take a chance on these emerging shows.
Yeah.
Especially for emerging designers. It kind of matches up.
Yeah.
Because sometimes Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, they don't want to interview a designer with under 500,000 followers on social media.
Yeah.
But I do.
So that's great, isn't it? Yeah, it opens up the market for both. It's mutually beneficial for both of you, isn't it?
Exactly.
So when you travel, though, I mean, again, when I've not connected with fashion, but when I've been out to Milan for work in Fashion Week, hotels and flights are through the roof.
Oh my God.
So how you funded at the moment? Is there a sponsorship on the show, or?
No, not at all.
It's self-funded, is it?
It's totally self-funded.
Wow.
It has been for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I live in New York, so New York Fashion Week's not too difficult, but I just moved to Brooklyn. Before that, I was living in Long Island. So I would be in school, in class, like writing my little essay, and then I would get on the train and basically take like an hour-and-a-half train into the city, spend the whole night in the city, then come back in the morning.
Yeah.
And do that for like a whole week.
That is an amazing work ethic you got there.
I was just so excited. I think anyone would just be excited to get to experience Fashion Week here. It's like the most amazing time. But for Italy, at least, I'm trying to think what I did. Okay, I was living in London.
Yeah.
So to get from London to Italy, it's not super expensive. I went on this beautiful, beautiful creature called Ryanair.
Oh yes, yes. Bargain Airlines, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
See.
Yep. Yep.
Unusual for Ryanair.
Oh yeah. And I went with my friend. And we took 2 carry-ons, and that was it. We didn't check in a bag. We had some brands in New York sponsor me.
Yeah.
And just like let me use their clothing for the trip. And it's an amazing brand. They are super sustainable. Their name is Twin. That's what I need, is what it stands for. And it is what I need.
We'll put, if you give me the link to that, I'll put that on the description of the show.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And you would love them, especially because they have really cool, like, patterned, basically what you're wearing.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah.
Definitely send me the link there.
They're super cool, and they're New York based and in the Lower East Side. If you have time to check them out, you totally should.
Yeah.
2 like sisters that just like built this coming up empire. And yeah, they took a chance on me and after meeting me once, and let me basically bring like their newest collection to Milan. And I basically only wore that for an entire week.
Brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic.
It was great.
And, if you're there at the embryo of a new fashion house, and you both become successful over years, that's a great story, isn't it?
100%. And the clothing is just, it's beautiful. It has a message. It is sustainable, which I think it was great to be able to wear that and tell people like, I'm only wearing sustainable clothing this season. And I brought it to Paris too, because we had 1 carry-on for Milan and Paris.
And of course all your kit that you recorded.
Yep.
So what do you shoot on?
I have these little mics that you have.
Same. Yeah, they're good on there. Very handy.
I love them. And I have like a regular mic.
Yes.
And we shot with an iPhone.
Yeah.
Because my camera person Zaha was not there.
Yeah.
So we had to shoot with an iPhone 14, I think.
Yeah, pretty good though.
It worked.
Yeah, yeah.
It worked. Nobody questioned us. They let us walk right in. 2 college girls on study abroad.
And then do you edit the material or someone else?
Zaha edited it.
Yeah.
And she's really just a genius because she made it look like a professional episode.
Yeah.
And not 2 girls filming it randomly.
Well, you are professionals, aren't you? That's it.
We are professionals. But she is just like the best of the best. She can make something that looks like look amazing. And yeah, that was basically my first Milan Fashion Week. We went back last month with Zaha. So everything was shot on a camera.
Yeah.
And those interviews came out great too. That episode is like one of my favorite episodes that we got to shoot out there. We did like a South Korean designer, Mun.
Yeah.
We did an interview with him. All of his stuff is sustainable too. Borsellino. I don't know if you've seen the episode. It's super cool.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, I mean, it came out super recently too.
I believe you've also done modelling yourself for Heritage Indian designer.
Yeah, that was my first ever modeling opportunity ever. And it was such a weird thing that happened. We were doing an interview in his store. And I didn't know that Prashant Goyal, who's amazing, was like a designer who did Fashion Week on the official calendar. So I was asking if I could, wear some of his clothes for the episode that we were doing. And he saw me in his clothes and was like, do you want to walk next week? And I thought it was like a very small, like 10, 20 people show. It ended up being in this huge ballroom with like 200 people, photographers from every source. And I had never walked.
So how did you rehearse that? Was that in the hotel room, just turning around? Or did you look into infinity to...
Oh my God. Well, I got so lucky because his models, I think, could tell that I was totally freaked out. I just stared into a wall for about 20 minutes when I found out how many people were going to be there. And they trained me in like an hour.
That's amazing.
It was so great.
But I bet you had the nerves just before you went on.
Oh yeah.
But that's quite good, isn't it? I suppose you know that from doing episodes. You get a bit of nervous energy, don't you, before you start something, and it kind of, you think, oh, I'm going to screw up. But it actually comes out great because I suppose adrenaline's pumping around your body, and it's focuses you, doesn't it? It's like...
I think when I do my show, at least I really love it because I'm in control. So I get a little less nervous when I do that.
Yeah.
But modeling I'd never walked, and there's a lot of, it's hard. I don't know if you've modeled, it's hard.
I don't think so.
in your life, I mean, it's hard. Like the turns, the timing, the facial expressions, especially when people are just shooting like light into your face. I was really freaked out. And they had to basically push me onto my cue.
Yeah.
Because I was like, just wait. Maybe I won't go right now.
It's like jumping out of a plane, isn't it? Someone pushes you because you're just going to sit there otherwise.
Basically.
Yeah.
But it was such a fun experience, and Prashant, like, I was just so grateful for him to let me on his show. It was so great. It was so fun.
So, wow, amazing career so far. So, I suppose final kind of closing things. Once you finish your studies, and you're doing the show, as I say, I've got a lot of admiration for you doing those two things at once and self-funding yourself. Where do you see yourself after you finish education?
Well, I'm going to business school, and I'm going to do business.
Yeah.
I don't really like math, so we're going to figure it out.
Oh.
But I definitely want to keep working on this show. I think that we're going to have our second season next year in the spring. And hopefully that'll be funded so we can actually have like more travel and work with bigger artists, hopefully. Maybe go to TIFF. That is I'm so excited that the strike is over.
Yes.
So that now we can start working with actors again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And promoting TV, because that's part of Essenza is fashion, lifestyle, and entertainment. And I think it's important to have the entertainment part. And I think just building this show and making it as great as I know it can be.
But your long-term career, do you see that's where you'll go, or?
That's definitely where I'm going. I just think it's always smart to get a degree.
Yeah, and have a backup.
At the same time, it's not even a backup. It's more of like an extension of what I already want to do.
Yeah.
Because with a business degree, maybe I can make it a brand. Show can, have a company and an LLC, which I think is important.
That is super exciting. Well, I can't wait to see how well you get on. Thank you very much for meeting me in New York. This is the reason I came out here, actually. I explained to you earlier that we touched base a few weeks ago, and I was super excited to come out and see you. And if you're in London, I'd like to catch up with you again.
Oh, yes.
See how you got on.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, for London Fashion Week.
Yeah? And you could even have me on your show, maybe.
I would love that. If I'm in London, we'll definitely have a little collaboration again, for sure.
But for now, thank you very much, Ariana.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you, and you all have a super day.
Thank you so much.